find yourself a fit in, you get a big reaction.
Good evening and welcome to our preview of the forthcoming match against our good friends
Bournemouth, you say, don't you?
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, yeah.
Bournemouth.
That's better, yeah. We
Bournemouth.
won you now.
I'm going to start every single one this week with 1-1. So, yes, we're going into this weekend's game against Bournemouth.
Do you used to say mouth?
I do say Bournemouth. Bournemouth.
So I'm joined with Graham Souness tonight.
Practice trying to say it.
Yeah, no, I just say Bournemouth, mate. Bournemouth. I mean, it says mouth though, doesn't it? Yeah.
Bournemouth.
In fact, doesn't it?
It's one of them.
It's one of them.
You don't say Tynemouth, do you?
No, you're absolutely
But
spot
you do
on.
say Plymouth.
But you do say Bournemouth.
It's just weird. So yes, we've got them this weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously going into that on the back of a win.
Great side.
As we mentioned just previously there in the questions, they're going into it off the back of a loss to Man United.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts for this coming weekend?
I'm obviously a lot more confident than I would normally be going into the game because we've just won and everything's great. We'll touch on injuries in a minute. I do think they have a really good side. I do, and I think the way that he has them playing as well. Like if you look at the team as well. I mean, they've got a lad called I think it's Daniel Brooks or something. He was absolutely unreal against Man United. He's absolutely. I don't know who he is, and he's honestly he was brilliant.
The thing really is when you look at their team, they're not a team of household names, are they? And even Eddie Howe isn't a. You don't look at that name and think, oh, what a fantastic manager. But
every one of our fans is very, very quick to say, what championship side, championship team. If you look at them, like honestly, man for man, they're a championship side. They are. If you look at their names, but the way he has them playing, the confidence they seem to have, I think they're fantastic. I really.
Well, he's always had them playing good football. I think that's why he gets looked at as an up and coming young English manager, because he is still very, very young to be, managing at the top end of the Premier League.
I think if Poch was to leave, I think he'd go to Spurs. Like I can see him at somewhere like that. Hate Spurs now, but I can see him being there.
He's one for the future.
He's one to watch, and for sure.
I mean, they're sitting in sixth in the league at the minute. They've had a good start to the season, as you say. They haven't really got any superstars in the
they haven't. No,
in
they
the
haven't.
lineup, have they?
No, and that's where I think this is where I've a lot of weeks on here I've been complaining and moaning on that everyone's so quick to say that our team's shite and that's why we get beat every week. But then I look at other teams and I think, well, they're getting the best out of their players, and you can't. I don't know. They're a very good side. Eddie Howe's a good manager. I'm a little bit unsure of what the away form's like. It must be canny because they're sixth, as you've just said. But as I say, I'm not massively confident, but I'm more than I would have been if I'd lost at the weekend, put it that way.
Well, to be fair, they were unlucky to lose against Man United at the weekend.
Hey, the first half, them were amazing. The first half.
It does worry you somewhat. I mean, the difference is that was at home.
It was, and we know we were 2-0 against Man United, man. Yeah. Let's be fair. I mean, they're not the best at the back, are they?
Time, have they?
And I'll be honest, there's a lot of times people come to St James's, and if for all we get beaten games, this season, for example, I haven't been blown away by anyone, have you? Really? Let's talk about Chelsea, Arsenal, I'm talking big teams. I haven't been blown away by anyone.
I mean,
really.
Chelsea were poor, really.
They were. They had all the ball, but they're not dead. Do you know what I mean? And
City, we were unlucky not to get anything there, really.
Leicester, I mean, we got beat off Leicester, and then we're dreadful. They were dreadful, Leicester. There's no team have come here. Brighton were awful. You know what I mean? It's not. And a lot of times that kind of happens where a team comes to our place and we're not quite up for it, but neither are them sometimes either. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm still. I think that's where
it's been played into us with we're having that tight defence and having that solid kind of setup has meant we've never been hammered any games this season. Because
I'm going to be very very what's the word? Well, I call what it is, and I would say I've been wrong in the sense of, because I was sitting here laughing saying, oh, let's celebrate goal difference. But now if we fast forward a little bit, it's a huge difference, isn't it? And I know I was unhappy with the style of football, and I'll still stand by that. But I seen a tweet yesterday, I think it was, that Dubravka's had 4 or 5 clean sheets, and he's like fourth top. Yeah. There's only the Man City and Liverpool keeper ahead of him.
I think we've got the best goal difference by anybody in the.
Yeah.
I think it's the up to about 12, 13, something like that.
If you look at Southampton at the weekend there, whatever day it was, sorry, I think it was the weekend, 6-1 or something against Man City, absolutely hammered against Man City.
But when you look at them in and around us, they've all got, I think it's minus 16s, 17s, 13s and stuff like that. There's a big gulf in the amount of goals conceded. And we said that last week that was the difference that took us from 14th up to 10th, essentially on the last day of the season. There's still a long way to go in here, but that goal difference is, even at this point in the season, is still worth really a point or two.
I think even if you don't even think of points in regard, if you just think of confidence as players, that I would think, I says, you know, it's actually we're in games all the time. We're not getting hammered off anybody. You know what I mean? And the goalkeeper has got one of the best clean sheet records in the league. If we can just nick a goal, we'll have a chance of winning every game.
And
do you know what I mean?
That's been the big thing that we've missed, isn't it? Is the offensive side of the pitch. We have looked solid, although teams are getting chances against us, but we can then rely on Dubravka and stuff like that, or as we've seen at the weekend, some poor finishing probably let off the hook a little bit, but we just haven't had that rub of the green and those chances at the other end of the pitch for us to actually get a goal.
Well, it's funny you say that. Actually, I was thinking, when I felt our season turned around last year was Man United at home.
Yeah.
Dubravka had the best game I've ever seen anyone have. It was his debut. He just, remember, I think Sanchez missed an open goal or whatever happened. Man United could have won that game quite comfortably, but we won it.
Yeah.
And that changed it.
Gives you a boost.
Doesn't it? It changed it. And who knows, maybe, that was a question before, but who knows, it might be the game that does spark when maybe just gets a little bit of luck on the side, you know what I mean? A bit. I don't know. I don't feel we've had any luck this season, put it that way. I feel everything's been against me at times.
It's just that, as I say, that rub of the green that we've been missing, the spark, that's something that just gives you the lift and takes us forward into the next game. And I'm much more, as you say, much more confident going into the game in the weekend now on the back of a victory, having that first 3 points than I would have been had we have drawn that game or lost it.
What I think is massively important, and you touched on it before, is the atmosphere of the crowd. Yeah. We need to continue that, because it ended.
I've banged on about it for weeks. Is that we've got a massive part to play off the pitch, and yes, I know you've got to rely on what's happening on the pitch to some extent to spark it and bring you. But I didn't feel that was the case on Saturday. It just seemed that the crowd were just up for it.
Yeah, I felt that way. I agree.
Sometimes you get during games, you get somebody will put smash somebody into the ground, or we'll have a great passage of play and everybody gets behind it and roars and stuff like that. But there wasn't like a real spark to it happening. It just seemed that everybody, like the corner was singing, the singing section, the leaders were joining in. Everybody just really seemed like that they appreciated what that game was, and that it just needed everybody pulling in the right direction.
And I'm not saying that it's. I mean, a lot of fans have said, we're there every week and we've lost every week. I'm not saying it's telling, but it is a little bit coincidental that it was the best atmosphere we've created and we've won. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. And I've said this for years, that I really wish that, when back in the day when I used to feel St James's was a hard place to come to, it was like a cauldron on it and no one wanted to come to our building. I really wish we could get that back, I wish we could get back to that way. Teams didn't want to come here. Whereas I think now teams probably quite enjoy coming. Get an easy ride. I think some of them probably think the fans will be on their back in 10 minutes and we'll end off winning. And I'd love to get back to them days where this is our house type of thing, and if you're going to win, you're going to have to play it damn well or work really hard to beat us.
And I think that's what we touched on last week, is that all of the problems that we've been facing, off the field with regards to protests, bad feeling about the owner, just a real down feeling about the whole place. Yeah. I think for that 90 minutes, everybody kind of just forgot about it a bit and just actually just got on and supported and got behind what was on the pitch, and it
was a strange. It
made a big difference.
I honestly truly believe it did, and as I just said, we've won as being part of that atmosphere, which was really good. And you could tell Rafa was on the end of the match, obviously because we won, of course, and he knows it's a big moment, but it just felt a big moment. And everyone pull in the right direction, and not to try. And Rafa bangs that drum all the time, doesn't he? We need to all be united. We need to all pull in the right direction. But it really felt on Saturday that we did, and we got over the line and won the game, and it's massively important. And what I think is, as I'm trying to say about the atmosphere, is it wouldn't surprise us, to be honest, if Bournemouth took the lead on Saturday, because they're a good side. It's about us staying with the team and still getting behind them and trying to cheer them on, type of thing. Do you know what I mean? But it's easier said than done sometimes.
So we'll go into that game. Obviously, we had the enforced changes at the weekend. There hasn't been too much noise about how bad the injuries are and that kind of thing.
It's difficult to say, isn't it? Really, yeah. We
don't really know what the lineup's going to be at this stage until probably we get towards the back end of the week, and we'll have the pre-match conference from Rafa and stuff like that. But what would be your 11 going into it?
I would love to see Rondon and Mutu be able to play again. I don't know obviously how bad Mutu's was. He seemed to come off the field canny, if that makes sense. I didn't seem to see him limping too much.
He seemed to come off. It literally must have been as it happened. He came off, because there didn't seem to be any.
Hopefully, it's more of a precaution of like I'm feeling something. Yeah. Let's take you off now. But he couldn't even say
it was a calf injury that he came off with, I think.
I would love to see them two again, because I just feel, I think I said this last week, that if we give them a chance and they don't score, don't just give up on them. Don't just say, oh, they're not going to work. Let's give them some time. Let's give them some games, and I would like to see them start. And the coin toss really.
I'd want to see Mutu and Rondo. If Mutu's fit, I want him ahead of Perez.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think Perez will play because of the goal?
He shouldn't. In my eyes, he shouldn't. The goal doesn't take away from what he hasn't done in the previous games and what he didn't do in that game on Saturday.
I totally agree,
as we talked about earlier, for me, yes, he scored what was ultimately the winning goal. He didn't contribute much else.
Nothing else, from what I remember. Nothing else. No, I agree. I would love to see one. The other two is you sort of, your heart's ruling your head in a sense, because you've watched them for 45 minutes and you think, crikey, Charlotte, unbelievable.
If you can guarantee that level of performance and that you're going to get what you saw on Saturday from Shaw and Key, you wouldn't hesitate to put them in the team,
exactly,
would you?
Yeah, that's it. But the thing is, you don't know, do you? You don't know, and I think you've probably got to go with your experienced / normal 11, if you like. Your Shelby's and that.
It's going to be down to how good or bad the injuries are come the weekend, and whether those three are fit. Whether or not anybody else picked any knocks up but didn't go off, because there was a lot of players at the end of that game that looked absolutely shattered. Rondon looked knackered. Kennedy, literally the amount of times he'd ran up and down that entire pitch, he must have run the equivalent of 3 marathons during that game. Richie's the same. So
it's looking at the other side. It's a great 90 minutes for them, though, wasn't it? Like, especially for Rondon, getting 90 minutes under his belt like that and not appearing to be injured after the game is massive, because he plays a huge part for us this season. I still believe that going forward, getting him fully fit is massive for us. Like, it's just huge.
Well, that's the thing. We need to get him fit and get him on the pitch, don't we? Get him.
He needs to play every week.
Get him the opportunity to score goals. Yeah, because that is, as we've said, that is what we've massively missed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think I think it'll probably be this. If it's possible to do it, it'll be the same team that started that game. Will start again. I feel.
Quite possibly. So predictions. Let's see if we can get a hold of Chris. See if he wants to give her a prediction as well. See if I can get him on FaceTime.
And Tenerife. It's awful saying.
It'd be funny if he doesn't answer, wouldn't it?
He better not be naked.
He's not going to answer, is he? Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Christopher Wallace. Ignored one.
Yeah, ignored one. Pied one. Got pied.
Off.
We got pied by one host.
So what are you expecting going into the weekend?
Right, I'm going to try and be positive, right? I'm going to do a heart and head one. So, me head saying we'll get beat 2-1.
Right.
Me heart saying we'll win 1-0. I've got to choose one, really, haven't I? 1-1.
So I probably... I realistically think draw 1-1.
That'd be good, that.
But I'd love to see we win it.
It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I'd quite happily take
if you look at the draw,
1-0.
though, we'd be undefeated in 3 games. You know, you look at that, you know what I mean?
You've got to take the positives even from that. Like we did, you know, last week.
Yeah, Southampton,
You know, at Southampton.
Clean
yes,
sheet.
we didn't get beat. We kept the clean sheet. You want to win it, but we didn't lose it.
That's why I'm on that boat.
But you just hope that at home, you look at that Bournemouth team. Will they come and play the same way Watford did, which means that we can play a bit? Or I don't think they're as much of a counter-attacking team as what Watford were. So I think they'll play a lot more with possession and stuff like that and build it up. So it could be a long, boring game and go into something like, you know, a 0-0 of
I don't know,
possession,
you know,
and stuff like that. Or it could go the opposite way.
I feel it'll be a bit like Watford. I feel as if, like,
it's a tough one to call.
It'll be end to end. I really feel it'll be quite end to end, the game. I don't think it'll be a boring one. I think it'll be end to end. I think them will have a lot of chances, and I think we'll have a few as well. Let's hope them don't take them.
It's probably, this is the one where I'm finding it the most difficult to call how it's going to go, because you don't know what you're going to get from us.
Oh yeah.
Are we going to get that?
Are you saying it because it's Bournemouth? Is that what? Because at the end of it's Bournemouth. Is that because if they're 6?
Well,
let's say with Everton that was 6. Would you say
strange team? Nah, because I think Everton, you've got the beatment of them on the day.
Probably
you probably have
a
Bournemouth, but they're just well organised at the minute. They're playing good football.
They are.
They're getting wins and stuff like that. They're scoring goals as well. So that's what then puts a bit of pressure on you. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
But you're thinking draw, though.
I think realistically probably a draw, but just as easy it could be. It's either team could sneak a win. It's just too difficult to call this one.
It is very difficult to call, I agree.
I'd love to be sitting celebrating another win.
It would be amazing.
I'll be getting the Tommy sauce out.
It'll be on here. The Heinz will be here if we win at the weekend. I'll tell you that for now.
So we're going.
I'll actually drink it on here.
We're going to Bournemouth with a bit of renewed hope after this weekend's win. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Give us a follow on Twitter. Share the videos. Thank you, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
Good night.